Hey guys, Smart right here. I am back with another video. This one called Beat Down Vendreads. Yes, they may have just been removed from the tier list, but I still think they're a good deck. They're definitely cog worthy. I got some really cool replays to show you guys, 3 of them to be exact. I'm going to give you again a deck description on how exactly this deck works, and we'll go over it in full detail. And I'll go over the strategies you need to use to make this deck really good. 2 Vendread Slayers. Vendread Slayer, he's your main go-to original monster, first monster you're going to summon. You want to use Slayer generally with Evolution, or you can combo him with Origin, but first you're going to do Evolution before you generally combo him with Origin. But I'll go over how to use him as soon as we go through the whole deck. But he allows you to search a ritual spell when he dies and send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. That's either going to be another ritual monster or on rare occasions Town Horde. You're not really sending this, you more want to draw it or search it to summon your monsters, but you can send it. It is a possibility. Or you're going to send your Anima. Anima is really important to get another monster in the field, and you will see it in the replays how good she really is. Anima allows us to banish to summon Vendread monster from our banish zone. Now, the one thing I want to tell you is if you're going to use Anima, that ritual monster better be properly ritual summoned or you cannot use it. I'm going to teach you how to do that properly. 3 Vendread Battlelord. Battlelord is, if you've played in the TCG, you know what Shockmaster is. Alright, if you didn't play in the TCG, then you don't know what it is, and I'm going to describe. So Battlelord allows you to banish any Vendread card. So you can banish your Origin, which you generally don't want to do. You want to banish Evolution or Knights, generally, most of the time. You can also banish, a properly ritual summon monster that you maybe couldn't use in the ritual summon because it didn't meet the requirements to use for your Anima as well. But mainly with him, you declare a monster, spell, or trap, and for that rest of that turn, that specific card type cannot be activated. So this is really good to shut down those battle traps. It's also really good. So let me give you an example. Let's say you activate Origin, right, to summon your Battlelord, and you see a delay right away when you don't have any monsters on the field. 90% of the time, 9 out of 10 times, that's Cosmic Cyclone. So once you're able to figure out that it's Cyclone, you know you don't have to declare spells or traps anymore. You can declare monsters. So if you go up against like Dragon Master Neos, so like where they can bring out the search the Neos fusion and then activate Neos fusion and use Flip Flop Frog along with the Invoked Engine. If you know it's Cosmic Cyclone, you can declare monster effects, and at that point you can play around Flip Flop Frog and a bunch of other cards too, like Bacon Saver, and that's really good. And you don't even have to worry about any monster effects for the rest of the turn. So really good. Battlelord you want to play 3 of, and I'm going to explain why we're playing 3 in a little bit. Not only for that effect, but also can send Anima to the graveyard to search a ritual monster when it dies. And this one can die in any way along with your Slayer. This isn't your Executor. Alright, the reason why we don't play Executor anymore is that it's not a strict Samurai meta, and it's not a strict Desperado meta. In Samurai Desperado meta, you need to play Executor because you don't want your cards getting targeted. There's a lot more targeting effects like Dual Wield, Clash, Blast Spider, but it's not, in my opinion, as common anymore. More and more, if I were to enter a tournament, I would side deck it. For those situations, I'd probably side deck 1 or 2. If I side deck 2, then we wouldn't be able to be targeted. So that might be a side deck option if you want to enter in tournaments or competitive play. But that's what Battlelord's mainly used for. 2 Gishki Chain. Shout out to Chopper200. He's absolutely right on about Gishki Chain is much better than Sonic Bird, in my opinion, because we have 7 ritual spells, so we really don't need the Sonic Bird. Gishki Chain is a mini Manju, if you don't know what that is. In the TCG, it lets you search a ritual spell or monster. But Gishki Chain here is going to allow us to search our ritual monster, if it's in the top 3 cards, or our ritual spell. So, all in all, together, we combine ritual monsters and spells. You have 12 of them. So you have a really good chance of hitting one. So all in all, you're going to get advantage some way, and in a good chance that you can hit your Origin, or you can hit your Evolution, which can help get your combos going. Or if you don't have a monster, you may hit a monster as well. Alright, we're only playing 5 Ritual monsters, because we really don't want to stack our deck with too many Ritual monsters. Alright, and we have Knights to search our Ritual monsters if need be. Alright, 1 Vendread Revenants is really good. It banishes any special summon monster on the field. That's your main out to big monsters other than Beatdown itself. The only thing you got to be careful with this card is this cannot get around Kakaitis. Alright, I cannot pronounce that correctly, so forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Kakaitis, and it can also not play around Dark Cavalry, so if they use Magicalized Fusion to summon Dark Cavalry, you cannot use this effect unless it's your turn and you use Battle Lord first, so that way they can't activate Cavalry, and then you can go ahead and banish their monster. So you want to be careful with this, but this is good as a one-of. You really don't need to play any more than one of it because it's searchable through Knights. It's also searchable if you send it to the graveyard and then summon it off of Anima. So if you banish it, once it's sent to the graveyard and then summon it off of Anima, that's another way you can get to your Revenants too. So there's a lot of ways to get to this card in the deck. So I don't think more than one. Hound Horde, this card is really good against Dark Lords because you can banish all their spells and traps, so that way they can only use it once. So you banish their banishment. If you can get this out turn 1, this is really good. You can banish their banishment. You can banish their contact. Even their Sanctified, if you can get yours off as Chainlink 2. If they Sanctify you first for some odd reason, then you can banish their Sanctified. Or, if you have your monster on the field and they set Sanctified, you can opt to banish it if you didn't banish their banishment already, and then they will not get to use Sanctified that's on the field. So that could be very effective against that. Anima, perhaps the most important non-ritual monster in the deck, because she enables beatdown strategies. So once she's in your graveyard, you banish her to target one of your banished Vendread monsters and special summon it. The rituals have to be properly ritual summoned. I discussed this earlier, and I'm going to show you how you're going to do that. Alright? So let's say you turn 1, right? Or turn 2. You activate Evolution to summon Slayer. Now, Slayer can be summoned from anywhere, so be smart. If you open up your Knights, discard your Slayer to search another Vendread card. You do not need to use the Slayer in hand. You want to maintain as much advantage as possible. So turn 2, activate Evolution, summon Slayer hopefully from your graveyard, if you've already used the Vendread Knights. Then you could send a Slayer from your deck to the graveyard, special summon it out. And then, after you do that, you can activate Origin, summon another Slayer if you have it, which you will because you sent one from your deck to the graveyard with your Evolution. Then you're going to summon Slayer, and then you could send your Anima, okay? And then, after you summon that Slayer, right, so you would have to have Evolution and Origin in hand to do this combo, okay? You need these both. After you summon that second one, its effect will activate, you search your Origin, alright? And then you could send from your deck to the graveyard Anima if you have a ritual monster in hand. So, let me show you what your hand has to be because I know this is kind of confusing. You need 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? That's what you need. Alright? So, after all that's done, alright, you have this in graveyard, alright? You have 1 banished. You're going to have 1 engraved, you're going to have 1 on the field, you're going to have an Origin in hand, and you're going to have Anima in your graveyard. The next thing you're going to do, once all this is done, you're going to activate Origin, you're going to summon your Battle Lord, and then, with your Slayer banished, you're going to use Anima. Now, you want to banish the bottom one, be very careful. Banish the bottom one, not the top. Because if you don't banish the bottom, then you're not going to be able to summon Anima. You're going to banish the wrong one, you're going to be screwed. You will have, all in all, several monsters to beat them down with, and then you can just negate a card that's in the graveyard. Alright? So, once I figure out how to get, like, Dueling Book on here, I can launch that up and show you the combo in Dueling Book, so that way you can kind of see how it all goes down, because I know seeing this like this, it's kind of like hectic for me to tell you this. And I will post the combo on Discord so that way, because I know it got a little bit confusing. Alright? but you need these 4 cards in your hand. So you need Slayer, Battlelord, you definitely need Origin and Evolution, alright, to maximize out your hand. Now, Vendread Knight, Vendread Evolution, where were we? Okay. Neos, now this is weird. Neos is here for ARA. You could take this out, but this is our 7th ritual spell. So you could send this to summon a Battlelord right from the hand, and then Battlelord will not die, so you'll have that protect. You will have him on the field. Keep in mind, you need a Vendread card to activate his effect. So you need to be able to banish a Vendread card to activate its effect. So if you send Neos, you won't be able to do that. But it could be good for a beatdown play. Or it could be good just to expand your board in general. So that's what it's mainly there for. Alright. 3, Vendread Origin. Origin is the main ritual spell in the deck. You need 3 of them. Alright. Don't crimp. You need to get 3 if you're going to play this deck. Alright. Origin allows you to get protection of the grave. It's the Machine Angel ritual. And also, you can special summon a Vendread monster from your graveyard or your hand. This is really, really good. Okay? And it allows you to use materials in the graveyard. So this banishes from the graveyard. Evolution sends from the deck. Graveyard, deck. Alright? So this allows you to banish ritual monsters from your grave to meet the requirements of any of your rituals. So you can banish Slayer from the grave to summon your Battlelord and then use Anima, and it really combos really well in the deck. Alright? Your Evolution. Evolution is so important because Evolution starts your combos with your Slayer. It also puts more fodder in your graveyard if you want to follow up with an Origin or whatever. Alright, so Evolution, really good. Also, you can combo with Gishki Chain and Hound Horde to summon your Battlelord, and that could be a good way to get Hound Horde in the graveyard at the same time. You can also combo it if you have a Slayer on field and you want to summon your Battlelord. Keep in mind, your Slayer has to be in hand or on the field. You can only send 1 monster to the graveyard with Evolution from the deck. You can send your Anima. That could be another way to get Anima in the graveyard. 2, Vendread Knights. Vendread Knights is really good because it searches any card in the deck. It's also great against Dark Lords because of its effect, its second effect. When your Vendread monster destroys a monster in battle, you can banish 1 monster from your graveyard, Vendread, and it can attack another monster. It cannot be used to attack them directly, but it can attack another monster. So if they have like 3 Dark Lords on the field, keep banishing monsters, and even 1 monster can swing over 3 of them. So that's a really good way to deal with Dark Lords. You beat all over them, and then they have to top deck a contact, otherwise they're going to lose. Alright? They may lose anyway, because if you have multiple monsters on the board, then they got to deal with all of them. And then, plus your recovery plays, because this deck has a lot of recovery. Alright? So, extra deck is not needed. The only time you would use an extra deck, and I can show you some techs that maybe you can play. One tech that you could play is, this Glow Bloom. Glow Bloom is really good in some Neos Fusion builds because you can add your ritual monster from the deck to the hand once you use Neos Fusion and Glow Bloom. It's also really good because you can Synchro Shogun into any of these cards that I'm about to show you. Any pretty much level 7 or level 8, but more and more level 7 because you can really combo with Vendread Slayer. If you use a field spell skill, like Yami or Wasteland or whatever not, you can make a really cool combo. And this is a card that actually got really powerful in the TCG, Ancient Fairy Dragon, because if you played ABCs, they really manipulated, and Dragoonies had broken combos with Ancient Fairy Dragon because you would constantly abuse the destruction of field effect. So one thing you could do is if you had a field spell skill, you could activate Evolution, send your Vendread Slayer, summon him, and then normal summon Glow Bloom, synchro for like a Black Rose or an Ancient Fairy. Like Black Rose can nuke the field. So if you go into like Black Rose, you can nuke the field. And then just like destroy everything on the field, and then search a ritual spell and 2 monsters because you get the search of your Bloom and your Slayer. You could send 1 from the deck to the grave. So you would get like 2 searches and then a mill. So that's really good. Ancient Fairy Dragon is really good because with Ancient Fairy, if you have a field spell skill, you can use Ancient Fairy Dragon to pop your own field spell skill, whatever you did, and then search Vendread Knights. and then get like 3 searches off of that, and then combo even further. Plus, if you have any of your mini guys in your hand, like your Battle Lord, like your Revenants and your Hound Horde, you can special summon them from the hand if you want to skip your battle phase, and then they'll get their effects if you ritual summon with them on field. So that's just a little note that I wanted to tell you guys. That's really good to do that. It's a really fun way to play the deck. It's not the best way in my opinion, but it's a really fun way to play the deck. Because otherwise it becomes inconsistent. And you cut down on the beatdown, and the beatdown is really important because you really need to swing over big bosses. There's a lot of blue eyes on the ladder, and there is a lot of Dark Lords, so you need the beatdown here. And even against Neos, you need beatdown. Everyone's playing beatdown. This skill really does need to get nerfed, in my opinion. Really needs to get nerfed. Anima does have one more effect. I wanted to bring it up. If you ritual summon with her on the field, so if you tribute her on field, whenever your Vendread destroys a monster in battle, it gets to banish it. Now that could be a really good effect because you can banish their Dark Lords, and that's really good. So like, if you combo Anima with Knights, then you could just attack all their monsters and keep banishing their Dark Lords and they can't get it back. That's really good because you could screw them over that way. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back and I'm going to show you guys some replays before we end this video. Where are they? Ah, here we go. This was a Dark Lord matchup. He was not using beatdown, so I don't think he was playing Dark Lords at his best. He was actually using Draw Sense Light to get Lila, which is creative. It might just be for skill farming, but it's creative. It's a creative way to get rid of back row, but you need ways to get over monsters. Like beatdown, I feel like you have to play beatdown in this meta. You really can't escape not playing beatdown, because beatdown, there's just so many monsters that you want to swing over as a big boss deck. Because there's too many people playing beatdown, and you really need to play it to one up their beatdown. Alright, so I'm going to show you combos right off the bat. We use Vendread Evolution. Vendread Evolution, we sent our Slayer to the deck to the grave to summon the one from our hand. Now what we're going to do is we're going to follow up with Origin. Now watch carefully. I summon the one from the graveyard, I tribute the one on field, and that's going to allow me to summon Slayer. Now, when Slayer is sent to the grave, we add our Origin to our hand, we dump Battle Lord. Now, watch this carefully. Watch very carefully here, okay? I'm going to summon Battle Lord and tribute Revenants and banish this properly summoned Slayer. There was only one properly summoned, but there was only one in the grave and it was properly summoned, but we're going to banish that, and we're going to summon our Battle Lord. So his turn, he's going to activate Ixchel. Ixchel discards Dark Lord, draw 2 cards. Banishment, get a search and contact. He's going to activate contact from hand, special summon Ixchel from the graveyard. Nastin, sorry. He's going to summon Nastin, activate Nastin, get contact back. Alright, we're going to use Battle Lord, banishes Nastin because I know he's going to play Desire. So he's going to activate his Ixchel, ultimately search Tesca, and then he's going to tribute for Desire. Now, when he tributes for Desire, he has 2 routes he can go here. He could either pot my monster, it'll go down by 1,000. Afterwards, he can use Sanctify to negate his monster if he has Dark Lord in hand. But he does not choose to do that, which I think is the better play. Swings over the Battle Lord. Battle Lord cannot be protected. He's the one that cannot be protected by Origin. Keep that in mind. He cannot be protected because it's not a Vendread monster. Keep that in mind. Alright. So now, Anima and Graveyard. Our Slayer, keep this in mind, Slayer was properly summoned. So with it being properly summoned, we're going to be able to banish Anima here. Vendread Knight's not really going to play effect because we can't use its effect because he doesn't have multiple monsters on field. We're going to go ahead and we're going to summon our Slayer. And we're just going to set our Hound Horde for extra protection. Beatdown is going to boost our booties up to 3,000. Tesca, which is 100% okay with me. And then we just swing over, and now he has Desire. Now he's in top deck mode with Sanctified on field. Alright, he summons Lila. Lila's going to pop our Knights, which is 100% okay with me. My turn. Beatdown. Really not an optimal top deck there, so we're just going to stall him out and just beat him down, force him to use Sanctified. He's down to 1,400. He top decks Contact, special summons the Ixchel, activates that Ixchel effect, copies his Sanctified. He has to, because otherwise he'd be within 400 and wouldn't be able to use any more effects. In the grade. So, Sanctified, copies Ixchel. Now, here's the thing. He had to copy Ixchel. Okay? he can only activate one Ixchel effect per turn on field, okay? So, this is a hard once per turn. He cannot use Ixchel again. So that's a big downside for him. He's not going to be able to really expand his board and go off as fast as he would like. So now he top decks Banishment, activates Contact. Contact's going to go ahead and special summon Ixchel, and then he's going to end turn. He has 1800, he can copy one more effect. Now I get game, I pretty much end the duel here. This is where I wrap the duel up. Evolution's going to allow me to tribute our Hound Horde on field, which is going to be really good. If he activates any more banishments, then we can just banish them. And then along with our Gishki Chain, we're going to go ahead and special summon our Battle Lord. We're going to use Battle Lord's effect to turn off monster effect. He's going to be forced to use Ixchel here. Copy. And then he's pretty much screwed at this point. Beat down. 1. Banish to give it 300 more attack. And 3. This effect does come up occasionally, and he scoops. And GG. Easy, right, guys? Easy win, easy life. Alright, so this one was against, I think this one was against Neos. Alright, so we open up Chain, Evolution, Advanced Ritual Art, and Battle Lord. This has the potential to be a really explosive hand. Alright, so he summons Quan. I think in this duel I did misplay. We'll have to see. So I go ARA. I should have activated Evolution, because then I could have stopped Quan. This guy was playing a really cool deck. This wasn't the Neos deck. This guy was playing Thunder Dragons, now I remember. With Crystron. I was thinking of running something like this. So, we kept drawing ritual spells, then I discard, then I finally get knights. I'm able to discard my evolution. We don't need that many in hand. That many ritual spells. Now we get 2 Battle Lords on the field. This is really oppressive. Now, we don't have enough monsters to use for Origin. We're going to force him to use Quan. Now, I'm going to teach you guys a lesson. Ready? He has Quan on field. He's going to Synchro Summon. He's going to Synchro Summon into a monster. You activated this as Chain Link 1. This starts the chain, so Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. Whatever monster he summons is not going to get its effect, along with the Thunder Dragon he's going to play in his hand. This is because those effects will activate in a new chain and start a brand new chain once this fully resolves. So no effects are going to be able to activate. He's not going to be able to use the monster he's about to summon. So no Thunder Dragon Dark to search a card, and no Inzectron, because Inzectron resolves in a brand new chain. So we swing over. I knew he had nothing, and then that's GG. Easy. Easy wins, easy life. You can only use your effect of your Battle Lord once per turn. That's a hard once per turn. So you can't negate 2 things here, okay? Now this one was the Neos deck. This was Seto Kaiba versus Seto Kaiba. So a really, interesting matchup. Clash really does kind of hurt us though, because we want to really keep our monsters up high, and we can take damage, so we got to be really careful. So we have our Gishki Chain. We're going to go ahead, we're going to search our Advanced Ritual Art, get Slayer out immediately, and then we're just going to end turn. We have Anima and Advanced Ritual Art in hand, so we have, with Slayer going to the graveyard, we're going to have a decent follow-up here. So, Neos, he copies, special summons Neos from the graveyard with Keeper of Dragon. Then he's going to use Neos Fusion to go right into his Brave Neos, so it's really good turn 1 play from him. Sets a back row, and then activates Brave Neos to search himself a Neos Fusion. And we're going to go ahead and search Origin and dump Battle Lord. We cannot use ARA to summon him from the graveyard, only on field, or in hand. We can only do that from hand. So we top deck a Battle Lord, Advanced Ritual Art is going to come through, special summon our Vendread Battle Lord. Then we're going to go ahead right away and turn off the monster card. Now, I want to bring up something. The reason I didn't declare traps, I saw a delay right on Origin. When I activated Advanced Ritual Art, I saw a delay. So I knew it was Cosmic Cyclone right off the bat. That was Cosmic, so right away, we're negating monster effects. Anima. Banish that, tribute the anima. So now we can go full beatdown, activate anima, special summon Slayer, beatdown, point, bam, 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 bam.
My turn.
So the one thing I could have done is I could have swung over with the one used by Anima. I forgot Anima had that effect. So we could have swung over that and banished his Neos from his graveyard. Cocytus, so he goes into Cocytus, activates King of Swamp, gonna search Polymerization, and scoops! GG! Bang! Vendreads! Alright, so that's pretty much the deck. Again, if you want to know some of the more combos, I'll post a guide on Discord explaining all the combos. I'm going to do it in a PDF because otherwise what's going to happen is everybody's going to get confused and it's going to be a nightmare for everybody to learn this deck. Alright? Because if I describe it, there's so many things going on that it could get very confusing. Alright? But that's pretty much the tutorial on how to play Vendread. The deck is really fun. Is it the most competitive deck at the moment? I'm going to say no, it's not the most competitive deck at the moment. But it is really fun. It's definitely cog-worthy in my mind. I got cog with it last season before all the Dark Lords and... trying to think. Before all the Dark Lords and all the DSOD stuff came out. So we definitely hit cog with it before that point. And on day 3, but we were playing it with Alexis. Chaba200, a fellow Twitch streamer, a brother of mine, really good duelist, phenomenal duelist. He came up with the idea of Spell Specialist Vendread, him and Stephen Freshy. That's a really good way to play it too. It's really consistent, and if you want to open up multiple ritual spells, that's a great way to play it. You can stack that deck with Neos Fusion and Glow Plume. The only problem I have with Spell Specialist right now, my fear, is beatdown. There's too many blue eyes out there. There's too many decks that want to beat you down. So that build, I feel like, is more reliant on your Revenants to get rid of monsters. But still, very good way to play it. Chapa, amazing duelist. Really cool strategy that they came up with. Alright? So, with that being said, Smart Rice signing out.